man. Say what you been saying, man. Man, I hate Tennessee because first of all, it's Tennessee, and I just hate them because they low down, they dirty, they some snitches, and I hate I hate their colors. I'm not a dog person. I just hate Tennessee. I just hate them. I just hate them. I just hate. 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 They low down. They dirty. They some snitches. They dirty. They some snitches. They dirty. I hate they color. They said, oh, 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 they low down. They dirty, they some snitches. They dirty, they some snitches. They dirty. I hate they color inside of pumpkin orange. Inside of pumpkin orange. And I don't like pumpkins. I just hate Tennessee, man. I just hate them. I just hate them. I just hate Tennessee, man. I just hate them. I just hate Tennessee, man. I just hate them. I just hate Tennessee, man. I just hate them. I just hate them.
It is that time of year, folks. I don't know if I want this background. Hold on one second. Let's fix this. What do we want to use? I mean, this is Tuscaloosa. This is Brian Denny. Let's just use this one. I don't care. That's fine. There we go. So what's going on, everybody? Christian Ballard Sports Media coming at you live for a call-in show tonight for, well, a Week 7 recap and a Week 8 preview for rivalry games this week. We got the third Saturday in October. And we got some other great games too. We'll go ahead and pull up the schedule. But it is that time of year. Smoke them if you got them. Ain't no smoggy smoke on Rocky Top. I love this week. I really do. And I love this because we're going to do our first ever. We've never actually done this. Like, I've done game streams with you guys, but I don't know if I've ever done 2 in one day or done a full on marathon. But we're going to try to do that this Saturday. We're going to try, and surely it's going to be amazing. Really. I think that we can pull this off. I think that we can have a good time. 1 or 2 will be hangouts. I think we'll do the late games for for hangouts. I don't want to make the Tennessee game a hangout stream. So I definitely don't want to do that. Turn my phone down. We got 2 watching so far. We'll get a crowd hopefully, and looking forward to it. We got a couple things to talk about tonight, and we do want to recap 2 games, but also look ahead to week 8. So anyway, let me go ahead and drop the StreamYard link. We'll get that going. Well, it's already dropped earlier, but I'll drop it again just in case you guys don't see it. What's up, Cody? Good to see you, brother. Roll Tide. We'll drop it for all destinations with Facebook and YouTube, and we'll go ahead and hit that. We'll get some people in the back room, but we got to talk about this Oregon Ohio State game. was phenomenal. Probably the game of the year in my book. I don't know. It was absolute cinema, as I saw on Facebook memes and stuff like that. It absolutely was. It was amazing. It was just something incredible. 32-31, Oregon beats Ohio State in East Eugene. I almost said East Lansing. I guess I got confused there because they both start with E. They're both green. And Oregon's Big Ten now. Not to get them confused with Michigan State, though. But when you look at this game and you dive into what Ohio State didn't do, there wasn't anything they didn't do other than they just did not score late in the game. Oregon got a stop like they needed to. Atticus Sappington, try saying that name 5 times fast, hit a 19-yard field goal. 32-31. The Ducks get the win. They left 1:47 on the clock for Ohio State to work with. I mean, you could make fun all you want to. Costly mistake for Will Howard and the Buckeyes offense to not see how much time was left and to get there back in time. I don't know. I mean, Ohio State played their guts out. They did. It was an upset. Ohio State was favored by 3.5. Oregon winning the game as an underdog covered the spread. What's interesting is that Oregon had less time of possession, but they had more yardage. They didn't turn the ball over. They had less first downs, and ultimately they had more points. They outscored 10-3 in the fourth and final quarter to win the game. To get that late 19-yard field goal, which was pretty simple, anyone could do it, right? No offense to kickers. No offense. But to get that late field goal and then to just play really good defense there at the end to contain Will Howard and company, that was just very incredible. Dylan Gabriel, 23 of 34, 341 yards and 2 touchdowns, no picks. No interceptions in this game from either quarterback. That's what I love to see. That's what you want to see for college football games like this. College game days there, you better bring your A game. Will Howard, 20, let me read this, 28 of 35, 326 yards and 2 touchdowns, no picks. Travion Henderson still playing for the Buckeyes, 10 carries, 87 yards. What about Jordan James? 23 carries for the Ducks, 115 yards and a touchdown. That's pretty good. I like it. Evan Stewart transfers from A&M this year. He's their lead receiver for Oregon. He was the lead guy last night. 7 receptions, 149 yards, and a touchdown. So, what was it about this game that Oregon pulled it off? Both teams did everything right, it seemed. They played good enough defense and good enough offense. Oregon hit it late on a field goal, and they stopped Will Howard and the Buckeyes offense when they needed to. When they needed to do that. That's what they did well. Did Ohio State do anything wrong in this game? Not by my count. They gave it everything they had. They lost by 1 point. They gave up 10 in the fourth. They had a chance to get in field goal range and kick a game-winning field goal. They did not get in field goal range. They had one. They literally needed like one play to get in field goal range, and they didn't have enough time. The clock runs out to get to try to spike the ball or something, and it just doesn't work out. It just didn't work out. I'm not here to dog on Ohio State. Credit to them. Played a great game. Oregon's just a better team because they came out on top. They were at home. They pulled off not the upset of the year. It was probably the game of the year. I mean, you could, oh my gosh, you can make a really good case for this being the game of the year. I don't care what happens at the 12-team playoff. This so far looked like the greatest game we've seen all day. Then you get to Alabama, South Carolina. We'll talk about that soon. Oregon's final drive was 11 plays with a game-winning field goal that went 74 yards, and they ate up 4:13 of the clock. Right? It was a close game all night long. It was 22-21 Oregon at half. Both teams end up scoring 10 points in the second half. The only difference is Oregon was shut out in the third quarter, and they had to rally back and get 10 points in the fourth. They had to do it all in the fourth quarter, and they did. Ohio State won in the first downs category by only one first down. Outside of that, Oregon won the game in yardage. There was a lost fumble in the game by Ohio State. You wonder if stuff like that gets factored into it. Does Ohio State maybe win this game? It's possible. Oregon averaged 5 yards a rush and had 155 on the ground. They ran it 31 times. This was incredible to watch. I mean, it really was. Really was, man. I loved it. I see you back there, Mayhem. We'll get you here in a second. But this game was everything you wanted to see. It wasn't too much defense. It wasn't too much offense. It met in the middle. There was good defense on both sides. There was good offense on both sides. Going into the game, we looked at quarterback play, we looked at receivers, and we said they probably got some of the best units out there, some of the best dudes. And they put them on the field last night, and Oregon took it to the wire with the number 2 team in the country. Now, granted, Oregon's number 3. It's not a total shock or upset, but they improved to 6-0. Buckeyes dropped to 5-1. Oregon 3-0 in conference play. Buckeyes taking that conference loss now that Oregon's in the Big Ten. So credit to Oregon getting a 32-31 victory in Eugene over the Ohio State Buckeyes. First call of the night. What's up, Mayhem?
Good morning.
What's up, dude?
Nothing. I wanted to talk about a little bit something different, but what is your? Did you get to see the ending of the Georgia game last night? I mean, Georgia, Kirby Smart is about almost 2 or 3 minutes to go in the game. Mississippi State was driving. Quarterback had came into Georgia's sideline, and Kirby Smart was trying to get to Glenn Schumann, accidentally, trying to get the play right, the play call right, and execute the play, and accidentally shoved Mississippi State's quarterback. Looking at the video, I looked at it, 4 or 5 times. I was at the game, so I actually didn't see that during the game. I just seen it today whenever I was watching some highlights of the game. I didn't see that because it was on the sideline. I didn't see that happen, but I want to get your thoughts on this. Do you think people are actually calling for Kirby Smart to be suspended? Uh, what? Give me your thoughts on this.
Oh, did he intentionally shove?
No, I mean you can
Okay,
pull it up.
why is he being called to be suspended then? I mean, think about it, man. If he did it intentionally, like intentionally push the quarterback and anybody else out there, if he did it on purpose, then yeah, his tail ought to he's got to get out. But if he didn't do it on purpose, and that's not in his character or anything, you make mistakes sometimes. It happens. We're all human. We're all flawed. Jesus loves us where we are. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't make a big deal out of it. Who cares? It's football. Guys been hitting each other all night long.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I didn't know if you wanted to react to the what happened on. It was on YouTube. The What happened was on YouTube, but
Nate Oates, did you see back in March Madness when Nate Oates pushed that one player aside? Do you remember that?
Vaguely.
Nate Oates pushes player. We're gonna find this. I'm gonna play it.
Just look up the Kirby
It
Smart
was
one.
Missouri. It was Shaw. I'll look up the Kirby Smart one too. But look at this. Hold on. Zaxby's ad. Let me get this off. Look at this. This is basketball. I know it's not football, but a coach doing this in one sport, what's it make a difference in another, you know? Look at this.
Yeah.
I mean, look. I'll find the Kirby Smart one for you, but continue on, man.
Yeah. So, I agree with you. I don't think Kirby Smart was asked after the game in the press conference about pushing the player, and he literally said he does not remember. Like, he didn't even remember pushing a player. I mean, that's how accidental it was. He was in the moment. It wasn't something that we look back and say, man, Kirby Smart was mad and he pushed a player. That's not Kirby Smart, you know what I mean?
Right. He doesn't really he doesn't get too heated either. I mean, I know he can on the sideline sometimes, but he was so heated like I'd never seen. But here's that video. It's actually one of the shorts that's up. I'll leave a thumbs up for this guy, I guess. Foul or nah. Let's see. I mean, like that didn't look to it's kind of 50-50. Like he went towards the player, violently shoved him. But I don't know if he meant to do that.
Yeah. I mean,
Violently. I mean, he just with force like he was a defender. I know he used to be, but I didn't know he could push that hard, man. I probably could have worded that differently, but anyway.
now that you've seen the play, what's your take? I mean, what's your thoughts?
I mean, it's like I said, it's 50-50. I don't know if he did that on purpose. I'm not
Uh,
saying he did or did not. I'm sure I would like to assume that he did not mean to push that player like that. But he was caught up in the moment. He was very animated, shall we say. And the camera just had to catch it. You know, I mean, and it's a bad look. I understand that, but the school or the SEC shouldn't penalize him for it. I don't think. I mean, it's look. I'll be honest. I talk to Mayhem off here all the time. I was talking to you on the phone earlier, was I not? And did
yeah,
I not say something about it's football and guys push each other around all the time?
yeah,
It's football. Deal with it. You know, grow
yeah.
up.
I don't think he should be suspended. I think it was a pure accident. I mean, he was trying to get to Glenn Schumann. He was trying to. I mean, do you think even the quarterback didn't respond? If you think, if you think it, I mean, if Curtis Smart did that on purpose, I mean, what do you think the quarterback would have responded? I mean, he would have shoved Kirby
Probably would
Smart.
have fought. Probably would have fought back, and if it was on purpose, Kirby Smart probably had it coming. But since
Yeah.
it wasn't on purpose, let's say if the quarterback did fight back against the coach, then it's out of line.
I mean, now, okay, I'll say this, right? I'll meet the people that want to suspend Kirby Smart for a whole game. I will meet them in the middle. Okay? If you wanted to give a late hit penalty in during the game for the shove on Kirby Smart, the play is already over. Kirby Smart then comes and shoves the quarterback. It was unintentional, but if you want to give a penalty on Kirby Smart, maybe what, personal foul call or something like that, late hit on the quarterback, or maybe an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, whatever you want to give on the field. Okay, that's fine, but suspending Kirby Smart for a whole entire game is ridiculous.
It is, but there's a ton of people calling for him to be suspended over it because he pushed a player. One fan said that they should suspend and fine him. I don't know if he could afford to be fined. I'm kidding. He makes a crap ton of money. Honestly, I know he does. But I look, here's the thing. Isn't it kind of curious to you, Mayhem, that they're calling for him to be suspended a week before they play the biggest game on the schedule against Texas?
That's what I'm
Isn't that
saying.
kind of weird? Isn't
Yeah, I
that
know.
weird?
Exactly.
Dude, like I'm gonna be live for that game next week, and if I see that Kirby Smart's not on that sideline, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, "Oh, Texas is gonna boat race Georgia." I'm sorry, bro.
They might get boat raced anyways, but
They might, but we don't know.
yeah, I mean, I want to talk about one more thing, and I'll get off here so somebody else can call in. But
There's no one back there. Take your
I
time.
want
Trust me.
I want to get your thoughts because I feel like you haven't been given your thoughts. So I need to get your thoughts on, because I know you made like a end of the first quarter type video, and that's pretty much all I've seen. But I want to get your thoughts on this Alabama game, man. I mean, Alabama loses to Vanderbilt, and then I know, like, I asked you for your thoughts, whenever they did, and you're like, oh well, it's whatever. I'm out of town, and Bama will do better. And then this week they almost lose South Carolina, and I still haven't got. I mean, are you not mad?
Oh, I'm furious. I'm furious. That actually leads into our second segment, which I'll get to after your call. But yeah, they bounce back, they get a win. But yeah, no, having time to look back at that Vanderbilt game, like Vandy wanted it and they did what they had to do to win. I credit Diego Pavia. I think he's a pretty good quarterback. I think I got some good weapons for him too. But Alabama got out coached in that game. And you would think with the players at least, especially Jalen Milroe, you would think a better performance is coming at home against South Carolina last night or yesterday afternoon, whatever. But it didn't. I mean, 27 points isn't bad, but you made it so close. You had to win by 2. You had to basically hold South Carolina off on a 2-point try, right?
Right.
So it's just like things like this should not happen for Alabama, but it's still a new coach, which actually leads into what I'm going to talk about a little later on in the show. Is it panic time for Alabama right now? And I got to get your thoughts on that right now. Like I think it's been panic time since they lost to Vandy, but it's just so weird that they had the best win to the worst loss and now a bad performance yesterday. It's weird, man. It's like when Georgia takes the field, everyone looks at them like they're some scary team, and then they are because they're one of the top dogs, literally, in the SEC and in college football. Alabama slays that giant. Then they lose to Vandy. Vandy vandalizes their own property and throws their goalpost in the river, pulling a Tennessee. I thought y'all hated Tennessee. Why are you trying to be like them? But then Alabama almost loses to South Carolina. What is going on?
I mean,
What? I mean, you can't make this up.
here, look, and this leads. I'm gonna tell you something. Number one, I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna say what I gotta say, because I feel like I need a few apologies from some Bama fans, but I digress. I'll talk about this, right? Alabama is definitely, it's going to catch up to them. It will. I do think a loss is coming. Another loss is coming. Y'all play Tennessee this weekend. The third Saturday in October game. Y'all now, to Alabama's credit, Tennessee don't have an offense anymore, and Tennessee's defense, it seems like they're having a lot of injury problems. Had a ton of injuries in the Florida game as well. Don't know if they're going to be able to get some guys back for the Alabama game, but next man up mentality, right? I'm sure Alabama has some players hurt as well, so I feel like that game's probably going to be a rather low scoring game. Don't know who's going to win the game. Honestly, I think it's, in my opinion, I think it's a 50-50 matchup. I think it's pretty much toss a coin, choose that team to win, and you'd probably be right. You know, I
Right.
think it's a coin flip. I really do. I think it's going to come down to who has the less mistakes in the game, who has the less turnovers. And I know that's cliche to say. Oh, you can say that about every single team. Whoever has the least turnovers. I know you can say that about every single game. You can. But these are two, to their full potential, they're two talented teams whenever they're playing at their full potential. But I feel like these two teams have not been playing to their full potential, and they've been shooting themselves in the foot quite a
Yeah.
lot, you know? And I think if these two teams really play to their full potential, this might be a really high scoring game because you have two great offenses and two great defenses. It could be a game that we see like Ohio State versus Oregon, like somewhere in the 30s maybe, right? But I don't know who's going to win the game. I really don't. But Alabama needs to figure something out. I feel like a win over Tennessee will definitely build confidence for this Alabama team. And I think Kalen DeBoer needs to take control over his team. I think he's too much of a player's guy. I really do. He's too much of a player's guy to where that he's allowing his players to pretty much run over him. Malachi Moore a couple weeks ago, right? We seen him, you know, Kane Womack wanted to pretty much tell him to get out of the game because he, you know, kicked the ball and he was, got the penalty and he wanted to, punish him for, the last 30 seconds of the game. Malachi Moore said, "No, I'm staying on the field. Make me get off the field." So then Kalen DeBoer comes over there. "Hey, get off the field." "No, I'm not getting off the field." Pretty much stuck a middle finger saying, "No, make me get off the field. I'm not."
Yeah.
But what did they do? Kalen DeBoer and Kane Womack, they pretty much went on the sidelines, buried their head beneath their butts, and said, "Okay, yes, sir. You're the leader." And that doesn't send a good message to the rest of the Alabama players. That means, I mean, what does that mean? Does that mean like they don't have control over their team? I mean, if Malachi Moore can do that, that means Jalen Milroe can do that. That means the running backs can do that. Jam Miller, all them guys, they can pretty much do the same
I
thing.
Look, dude, I was talking today at church because I talked to a lot of guys at my church, some older guys in like their 50s or whatever, and they like they love Alabama football. They love Auburn football. They love college football. And we got to talking today about how undisciplined the team is for Alabama and how they're not the only team out there. But we've also talked recently about how this has changed and college football sadly has become a business and it's run by the players. I don't care what you have to say on that. Hear me out. It is run by the players. They're getting arrogant and cocky. It's all about them. It's not about going and getting an education anymore. And this is part of why guys like Saban left. Like, dude, for real, man, he got out of there quickly because he saw what it was becoming. Now he's covering on College Game Day and stuff, and he's doing a great job. But Kalen DeBoer, he's a younger coach that can probably handle this type of thing. But at the same time, dude, if guys are getting so uppity and upset and they're going to quit on their team because they're not playing and they're going to redshirt and they're going to hit the portal and do this, they're going to make their own decisions. I'm going to tell you what, if I'm a head coach and you come up to me telling me what you're going to do for my team, buddy, your your tail's out. Like you're gone.
Yeah. And
Like for real, bro.
so I feel like there needs to be some type of discipline on the team.
But
I
there's the
mean,
thing, there's not. There's not.
I mean, think about this. I know, like, I'm gonna bring up something else. You see teams like Georgia, and I know Colorado's not any good, but even Deion Sanders does this, and a lot of other coaches do this. Nick Saban did it. The players at Alabama used to tuck in their shirts,
Yeah.
and also Nick Saban, he used to wear a collared shirt, and he used to tuck in his shirt. What in the world are they doing? I mean, you see Kalen DeBoer with a $15 Walmart Alabama shirt out coaching a game with some sweatpants. I mean, he literally rolled out of bed with that outfit and put on a hat and said, "Let's go coach a game." I mean,
Almost made a video on that because they were talking about some of the fashion trends that like Bear Bryant used to wear, Gene Stallings. When you look back at Saban, and I mean Mike Shula wore a sweater, but he had a polo underneath it, so the collar stuck out. But like it I get it. Ray Perkins even wore a not a tux, but just a suit on the sidelines. He didn't even wear anything for Alabama. He just wore a suit. Uh but yeah, I mean, it's a comfort fit for Kalen DeBoer, and I get that people are upset about it. But I'm also the one that's going to say I don't care as long as he's coaching the guys the right way. I don't care what he looks like, just coach the right way. And quite honestly, I feel like in some areas, not all, but in some areas, he probably doesn't have a grip on this team.
I would totally agree with you. And I want to say this last thing, and then I'll get off here. Alabama has a couple games. I already talked about the Tennessee game, but one particular game. Well, you got the Auburn game coming up at the end of the year. I'm not sure how challenging that's going to be, but you know, Auburn doesn't really have an offense, but they do have a decent defense. But and you know, it's a rivalry game, so that's always up in the air. It could go both ways. But one game I want to talk about that's left on your schedule is the LSU game, right?
Okay.
And boy, in the off season, I said LSU is going to go 11-1. Okay, I said that, and boy, did I get a lot of heat on the Ballard Sports Media channel on the live stream. I got a
Yeah.
lot of heat. Boy, Mayhem Matthew, you're crazy. You're stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. Well, I just like to go ahead and tell you, oh, they're definitely losing to Ole Miss. Well, didn't happen. They are sitting with only one loss, and and their schedule, the hardest team left to face is
Is Bama.
probably it's not Alabama. It's Texas
What?
A&M. It's Texas A&M.
Huh?
Huh?
You think
Yeah,
Texas? Okay.
yeah, you
All
heard
right.
me right. Texas A&M is a better football team currently as of today than Alabama. Okay, now in a couple weeks that might be different. I know talent wise, Alabama is much more talented than A&M, but A&M's doing their thing. They just blew out Missouri, and I don't know. They didn't play. I think they had a bye week this week. I don't think they played anybody this week, but yeah, A&M's looking really good, top 15 team, and they only have the one loss to Notre Dame early in the season. But I think they got their crap together, and I think they're looking really good. But that's not the point. The point is LSU. They pretty much have Yeah, they got Bama, but they got them in Tiger Stadium. And I know what the Bama fans are going to say. Well, Bama's done better when they go to Tiger Stadium. Mayhem. I get it. But did you not see what happened this past weekend versus Ole Miss? Yeah. I mean, that crowd was electric. It was fiery. Ole Miss was up by 2 scores, and LSU just came out and did their thing. Yeah, LSU still needs a lot of work to be done, but I really seriously believe this, that if Bama loses, I believe Bama's going to lose to LSU. I don't know if they're going to lose to Tennessee or not. If they lose to Tennessee, they're going 9-3 and they're missing the playoffs altogether. I think that's a real possibility. So I think it's a must win for Kalen DeBoer and company, and then for this Alabama team if they even want to sniff the playoffs. Because I still am going to say this: yes, LSU looks offensively, they don't look 100%. You know, they struggle to score points against Ole Miss until late in the game. I understand that, but their defense is much better than what it was last year. And I was called crazy for saying that, but proof's in the pudding now.
Yeah, I mean, nothing's a guarantee this year, though. So, I mean, you could be right. I mean, unless, look, Alabama could drop. So, when you look at their remaining schedule, here's the games. Let me read them off one by one. So, they go to Tennessee this week. They play home at Missouri. They play at LSU. They play Mercer, obvious win, I guess. I mean, I'm just saying nothing's a guarantee in conference. At Oklahoma, if they overlook that game, they'll lose. And why would they overlook it? Well, they got the Iron Bowl at home. And we know that's always a tough challenge, no matter how the teams have played every year. Um, Alabama, they got the loss to Vandy. That's bad enough. Even though we've seen what Vandy's looked like so far, sitting at 4-2 and 2-1 in the conference. But Alabama, they really don't have much room for error. They cannot afford to drop more than one other game. If they lose to Tennessee, they better win out. If they beat Tennessee, let's say they drop LSU, they better beat Mercer, Mizzou, Oklahoma, Auburn. They better do all of that if they want to make the playoff.
Yeah, they have to. They have to win out. If they
have to.
lose, if they lose this weekend, they got to win out. They have no room for error. But I'm gonna say this last thing, and I'm gonna get off here. But Texas had Vanderbilt. I'm gonna say this: Vanderbilt has a chance to do the funniest thing ever in college football. Okay, so Texas plays Georgia this weekend. Let's just go ahead and say Texas beats Georgia, just to humor me, right?
Okay.
Let's say Texas beats Georgia. Guess who Texas plays the weekend?
Oh,
Guess who
at
Texas?
Vandy.
Yeah,
At Vandy. Yep,
yeah.
I'm looking at it. I see that. I see that.
Vanderbilt can do something really funny in college football. Imagine
If
Texas
they beat
beats
the number one
Georgia.
team.
Texas beats Georgia and then goes on the road to Nashville and Vanderbilt beats Texas.
Just like they did Alabama.
Yeah. I
That's
mean,
insane, bro.
wouldn't that be like the funniest thing in college football ever?
I hope it happens, just not because of Texas, but just to see something crazy happen twice in the same year, which I don't know if I've ever seen that.
Yeah, I mean
Not like that, at least.
Vanderbilt has the chance to do something hilarious in college football, and honestly, I don't know. Obviously, I don't think you can strike the lottery twice in a year, but that would be hilarious. I mean, just going, I think, Texas will be prepared. Hey, we can't go down to Vanderbilt thinking that we're going to get an easy win. It's going to be a tough game, although it is Vanderbilt, right? but we seen Alabama lose. We got to go down there and take care of business, right? Just like Saban used to say, that's a business trip, right? Go take care of business and then move on, right? We should be able to beat Vanderbilt, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, man, that's pretty much all I had for you today. I'll continue watching the program, but everybody go subscribe to Ballard Sports Media.
Thank you, Mayhem. I would say do the pick'ems with me, but they have not put them out yet for this week, and we really only have one watching right now, but I appreciate the person watching.
For sure.
Yeah, thank you, buddy.
Yeah.
All right, love you, Mayhem. Appreciate you, brother. Always calling in, giving us good content, good stuff there. Yeah, I got nothing else. I kind of went through everything. I mean, Alabama, they bounced back. It's kind of panic time against South Carolina. 27-25 is a good win. But at the same time, can't have those close games. Is it panic time for Alabama? They got to go to Tennessee this week. I think it is. I don't think they're winning that game. I'm just going to let you in on it. But it's the SEC. South Carolina's not a bad team either. Not a bad team. They lost to LSU, but when I look at this game, let me put this up. Let's do this. When I look at this Alabama South Carolina game, a couple things stand out. Is Carolina that good? I say they are. 27-25, they're that good of a team. They're going to play you good on defense. But it also wasn't a fluke. Or Bama lost to Vandy, but it wasn't a fluke. I'll say that. We'll start there. Is South Carolina that good? Yes. Does Bama have issues? No doubt. Nick Harbor in this game has a 31-yard touchdown from Sellers. If South Carolina got the 2-point try, we would be saying something different. We'd probably have overtime. Maybe South Carolina wins in overtime, at least in my opinion. That's just kind of how I view it. An onside kick recovered by South Carolina. Damani Jackson picked off Sellers for 38 yards to run the clock out at the end of the game. So the defense does come through, even though we looked at all this and we said that was the issue last week against Vanderbilt. The defense performed a little bit better for Alabama, and it came through in the end when it mattered most. A pick by Damani Jackson, the USC transfer, 38-yard return, runs out the clock. South Carolina falls to 3-3, 1-3 in conference play. Alabama advances to 5-1, 2-1 in the conference. Only lost to Vandy. That's what I got. But I still say that Alabama struggling. Can't overlook Tennessee, Oklahoma, LSU, Auburn. Those are what I'm going to say are 4 big games left on the schedule. A couple cupcakes here or there, a couple of lesser SEC teams. But those are the games. Tennessee, LSU on the road, at Oklahoma, home against Auburn. Those 4 games stand out to me. Who do they get between LSU and Oklahoma? Mercer. Missouri. I forget Missouri on the 26th. That could be a tough game. That could really be a tough game. So Tennessee, Mizzou, LSU, Oklahoma, and Auburn. That's 5 losable games, but also 5 winnable games. Let's say they beat Mercer. That's win number 6. They're going to a bowl, right? Could they finish with 5 more losses? Nah, that's crazy talk. They're better than that. But 9-3, because this Alabama team has their issues, 9-3 seems reasonable for this team. But it also sounds kind of crazy because they're always 10 wins at minimum, right? I think they beat Auburn this year. I think that they could I think Tennessee is going to win. I'll do a prediction later on this week, but I was talking with TriStar the other day, and he said the big thing about this game is neither team's fans are confident in their team because they both have issues. And I fully agree. I'm not confident Alabama could go to Neyland and pull an upset or road win, or even if it's an upset. I mean, Alabama's small favorite. I'm not confident in that. I think they could handle Mizzou at home. Let's give them that. Let's say they lose Tennessee. They beat Mizzou. Let's say they beat LSU, Mercer. Let's say they lose to Oklahoma. I'm looking at 9-3 for Calendar Board's first season. Tennessee and Oklahoma coming up. You can call me crazy, but don't be surprised if it happens. Just don't. Girth Brooks, what's up? Bama is washed up. It might be. You can't be wrong about that. You can't be wrong. They're not Auburn though. Auburn's 0-3, 3 straight losses. Coming off a bye, they played Missouri this week. That's going to be a 4th straight loss. They got to pick up some SEC wins, man. They got to play. They got to play Vanderbilt at home. ULM they'll win. We think. I don't know. Anyway, I got to get some rest. Y'all can tell I'm tired. Thanks for calling in, Mayhem. Love and appreciate you. Love all you guys. We'll be back maybe next Sunday. I'm not sure. Actually, I might work, but we will for sure be here this week a couple times to get us ready for third Saturday in October and everything. Texas, Georgia, all kinds of games, and we'll have our marathon this Saturday, the 19th. I love you guys. Jesus loves you. God bless. And from a Bama fan, roll tide. Love y'all. Keep your head up.